Hi, this is Brandon Fuller with Raise the Roots, and we're going to talk about part 2 of our top 9 things everyone should be doing in engaging networks in 2019. In part 1, we started with creating export groups, creating an unsubscribe page, using tracking parameters, creating profiles, and using conditional content. In this version, we'll talk about A/B testing of pages, creating a welcome series, using the component library, and creating custom autoresponders. So let's go ahead and get started. The great thing about A/B testing pages is that it allows you to create new designs and test those designs against your existing designs. You can try out different ask strings, different images. Obviously, the goal is to find out what is the most effective advocacy or donation page for your supporters. Ian will create a link when you create a new A/B testing page, and that link can be shared with your supporters anywhere on Facebook, on your website, in your emails. And Ian will randomly direct people to version A or version B so that you can see over time how these different versions are performing. You can use tracking parameters in this link, and that way you can track how Facebook users respond to each version versus website supporters. You'll be able to see the stats and choose a winner. And once you do, all future visitors to the URL that Ian created will be directed to that winning page. So to set these up, the first place to start is to create the pages you'll be testing. So you'll have donation page version A and donation page version B. Then you'll go to that new page button and Engaging Networks page builder, and you'll select the split test page type from the menu. It'll allow you to select the pages that you want to be testing. You can have more than 2, and it'll also allow you to decide if you want the winner selected automatically after a set number of people view the page. You can also elect to select the winning page manually. Then you'll use the A/B test URL that gets created by Engaging Networks on your website and your emails and everywhere else, and start tracking to see which of your pages is performing the best. Maybe you're looking for the highest number of gifts, or maybe you're looking for the highest average gift, but this way you can see those statistics and see how they're performing. Just click the name of your A/B test. It'll drop down, and you'll be able to see stats. You'll see that there is a button that says Mark as Winner. If you want, you can manually set the winner. Like I said, Ian can also automatically select the winner for you based on your criteria, but you'll be able to see all of the reporting on each page that's in your A/B test. So this is a great way to start testing your ask strings, start testing different imagery, your layouts to see if maybe having a multiple page action alert or donation page is more effective, or just having a single page. You'll be able to see all of your conversions and your average gifts and test what really works so that you can be more effective. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like in Engaging Networks. So I've created these 2 donation pages. I've got donation page version A and donation page version B. And I went into the new page button and I elected to create a test, a split test. This is it. And if I go into my settings, you'll see where you're allowed to choose the split test pages that you want to use. And you can see where you can also set what the winning criteria could be if you want to have Engaging Networks automatically select the winner based on the settings here. Like I said, Engaging Networks will generate a URL, and you can use tracking parameters here. And once you've made this A/B test page live and you start sharing that URL, you'll be able to go in here and see how your pages are performing, and you can even select your winner. So that's how you use A/B testing for pages in Engaging Networks. Now let's talk about creating a welcome series in Engaging Networks. So in a welcome series will be a marketing automation in the system. And the one thing I want to note about welcome series is that sometimes they can be intimidating for organizations who think that they need to create several emails and different actions and things for people in this welcome series. The reality is that a welcome series can just be one email that welcomes new supporters to your organization and explains what your mission is and how they can follow you on social media. So don't allow a welcome series to be daunting. You can create a marketing automation in Engaging Networks that targets new supporters. You can include one or several messages, And it's possible to view reports on open rates, click-through rates, and actions for the welcome series overall and for each individual email. So step 1 is to go to Marketing Automation under the Email tab in EN, and you're going to select the New Automation button once you're in there. You can choose General Welcome Series type from the list of available types of welcome series. Next, you want to keep the option to target new supporters with your automation in the settings. You'll choose the opt-in that these new supporters are added to. Engaging Networks requires that all recipients of any marketing automation are opted into some kind of opt-in in your account. Then for your journey start, you can select what time you want people to receive this email, and you can even select what day of the week, if you want to only have it one day or a couple days or every day, where the journey will run and it'll capture anybody who's met the criteria of your marketing automation and send the email. So if you like to send emails for your organization at 10 or 11 in the morning, you probably want to start your welcome series earlier or later than that. Step 3 is to, in your marketing automation setup, drag the little blue icon for an email into your journey right next to the journey start box. Once you've done that, you'll hover your mouse over the email and click on the pencil to edit. Then you'll create your email just as you would in the regular email tools. I'll tell you that one of the things that I do in creating a marketing automation is I actually set up my emails in the regular email tool first. That's where all of my templates are available. That's where my existing emails are there if I want to duplicate an existing email. I set them all up and then I just copy the HTML and paste it into my new marketing automation email. Unfortunately, the email templates that you use in the regular email tool are not available in marketing automation. If your marketing automation is going to have more than one email in it, then after you've created that first email, you want to go ahead and insert a wait. So you'll drag this little red box onto your automation and connect it to the email that you just set up. And you can set the period of time that you want people to wait before getting the next email. So you'll put in the wait period, say it's 3 days, then drag on a new email and create that process all over again. Once you're finished, you want to drag an end onto your automation after the last message so that the automation will know this is where your supporters will exit the journey. Then you'll save your automation and click launch to launch it and get it started. If you want to change any of the settings of your marketing automation, if you want to see who's currently in your automation, or if you want to view the performance of your automation, you'll use the little icons in the main marketing automation page. You'll see the settings gear, you'll see that little icon of people standing around a circle. If you click that, it'll tell you who's currently in your automation. And then the little pie chart is where, like in all other parts of Engaging Networks, you'll see the stats on how your marketing automation is performing. It'll show you the overall stats, but it'll also show you how your individual emails are performing. So don't be intimidated by creating a welcome series. One message will work. And let's go ahead and see how this works in Engaging Networks. So I go up to email and to marketing automation. And this is the marketing automation area in Engaging Networks. I'm going to click on new automation and select general. You can see here that Engaging Networks creates different templates. You can have a general welcome series. You can have a welcome series that takes a new person and tries to get them to become a donor. Once they become a donor, Engaging Networks will remove them from the automation. You can also create one that's new to first action. So if you have a new supporter who's signed up on your website, once they've taken an advocacy action, Engaging Networks will automatically remove them from the journey. You can see there's other automations in here. You can set up birthday messages, credit card expiries for recurring donors. But today we're just going to start with the general welcome series. So we're going to name our marketing automation. We're going to go to next. We'll select our supporters. So this automation will automatically target new supporters, which is what we want. You'll see that there are other options here where Engaging Networks has set up some profiles that you can use in order to target people with your automation. You can also create your own profile, but just for this welcome series, we're going to start with new supporters. You can elect to include imported supporters, so if you do a lot of importing from Care 2 buys or a partnership that you have, you can include those. Again, you have to pick your email opt-in, And then you can, just like setting up a query in Engaging Networks, you'll filter the list. You could say, I only want people who come in from this state, or I want people who come in with this source. You can also exclude people. So if you want to exclude current donors or current recurring donors, you can do that here. And you can always save and preview your query to see how many people today will get this email. Click Next. And next, we're actually going to set up the journey. So you're going to drag your email onto the page. It's just like creating an email in the email tools. You'd have a name, a subject, a sender, your content here, plain text content. And once you're done, you just click Save. And then you can just drag an end and be done. If instead you wanted to have a wait, you can do that here, drag on another email, and keep going through this process. This is that journey start I was describing. It allows you to select how frequently you want these emails to go out and what time you want them to go out. Once I'm done, I can just click Save and launch. Now let's talk about a really handy tool for using Engaging Networks that will allow you to create many new pages without having to start from scratch every single time, and that's called the component library. So the component library allows you to save content and form blocks as well as code blocks for easier page creation. You can create folders and naming conventions to organize all of these saved components. And the one thing to remember is that when you create a new component and when you drag it onto your page, that saved component will be tied to all the other pages where it's currently being used. Unless you unlink it, any change you make on page A will be reflected on page B for that same component. So if you have a content block and you want to use it on several different donation pages and you don't unlink it from the library, as you're dragging it onto all of your different pages and saving it, any change you make to that component on one of those changes will roll out on all the other pages. So generally, I think it's a good idea to unlink that component from your library, make your changes, and that way those changes will only be reflected on that one page that you're using it on. So step one, when editing a content or form block on a page, so you're in Page Builder and you've created a new page and you have your content block or your form block open and you're using it, you'll see that there's a button that says Save to Library. You can enter a name for your component. You want to be descriptive. Sometimes you could use the date, the year, whatever information you think will be helpful for your colleagues to be able to utilize that same component and to know what it is and how it's being used. Again, once you have saved it, you'll see that there's this Unlink from Library button now in that content or form block in the lower right-hand corner. If you unlink from a library, then any changes you make to that new saved content item or new saved form block item will be constrained to that page and will not roll out to all the other pages that might feature that content or form block in the future. So the next step is that now you've saved it, you have this piece of saved library content in your account, and you're creating a new page and you want to use it on that new page. When you drag the content or form block onto your new page, you'll see that there's a Load from Library button in the upper right-hand part of the box. If you click on that, EN will open up a page that shows all the saved library items, either form blocks or content blocks that you can choose. You'll click the one you want, then click the Use Selected Component button. It'll open up that content or form block that you created, and there you can make changes to it. But again, you may want to unlink it from the library to make sure that whatever changes you're making don't get reflected on any other pages that feature that block. You can find all of your library items by clicking the Components button under the Pages tab. So if you go to Pages, there'll be a drop-down, click Components. You'll see that text blocks, code blocks, and form blocks are options on the menu. And then you can see things like where is this component being used and edit the component. So the component library makes it really easy to create new pages. You can create your forms, your content blocks, and your code blocks. Make sure they're perfect in the way you like them, save them into the component library, and then when you make new pages in the future, just easily drag them onto the page and use them again and again. Just remember that unless you want to make changes to it that will roll out across all the pages featuring that content, form, or code block, you need to unlink it from the library. So let's see how this works in Engaging Networks. So I have this action alert page. I'm going to edit it. And here I have this content block, this text block that I created. I'm going to edit it. And you'll see that down here in the lower right-hand corner, there's this Save to Library button. If I click on that, it'll allow me to assign a page for this shared item. I'll save that. And now this is a library item that's available to anybody when they want to create a new page. You'll see that Unlink from Library button has appeared. Unless I click that, anywhere that's using this page that hasn't unlinked this item, any changes I make now will roll out across all those other pages as well. I'll go ahead and just click this. Now I can make changes and they won't affect other pages, and I'll click Save. Now let's say we want to add this same text block to another page. You just drag a text block onto your page as you normally would, and you'd go to the Load from Library button. There's that library item I created. I'll choose the Use Selected Component button. Here it is, and again I can unlink it from library. EN will warn you that before you hit save, any changes you've made, if you haven't unlinked it, will roll out to the other pages, so it's just something that's good to know. Another thing I want to point out is that when you're in this component library area, you'll see this little icon here. And that icon, if you click on it, will show you other pages where this component is currently being used. So if you want, once you've created these components, to access them, you go into the Components area under Pages, and you'll see you have text blocks, code blocks, and form blocks. This is the one I just created. I can edit it, and I can see where it's being used in other pages. It's the same process for a form block and for a code block. This is just an example of a content block. Now let's talk about creating custom autoresponders. As you know, it's already possible to create an autoresponder for your donation pages, advocacy pages, and registration pages, but you can create custom versions based on something that the supporter has entered on the page. So if you want to thank your supporters with a custom autoresponder, you can do so based on constituent information, like the state that they chose on the page, or donation information, like the amount of the gift they made. You can also prioritize these autoresponders in case somebody meets the criteria of 2 of the different autoresponders. So when you go into your donation page and you're editing it, you'll go over to the autoresponder area in the toolbar and select the thank you email. Then you'll see a little plus sign tab. I'm going to click that and select Custom from the drop-down menu. You'll set the priority of your custom email so that if somebody happens to meet the criteria of several custom emails, you can tell EN which version you want them to receive. Next, you want to choose the filter to apply for this custom autoresponder. You can choose supporter field, so that's constituent information, donation amount, or donation currency. This way you can create custom autoresponders based on what currency somebody's using, if that's important to you, or the state that they put in, or maybe some other custom field, or the donation amount. So if you have your mid or high dollar donors and you want to send a different thank you message, you can do that. So here you'd say, I've selected the donation amount as my filter, and I'm telling EN that if the donation amount is higher than X, this is the custom autoresponder I want this recipient, this donor to receive. You'll create your autoresponder message the same way you would for any autoresponder. And then you'll save that, and anybody who makes that donation or in that amount, or if they select that particular constituent field, this is the custom autoresponder they'll receive. So you can thank your mid and major donors for making a gift of a certain amount, or send advocates in select states a custom message. So let's go ahead and test this out. So I'm going to go into a donation page. And in the toolbar, you have your autoresponders and the thank you email. And here I have a single gift autoresponder, I have a recurring gift autoresponder, but I also want to add a custom autoresponder. So I'll click the little plus sign, create custom. And just like in everything in Engaging Networks, you're going to name this. You're actually creating a rule for when people will receive this custom version. So you'll name it, create a short name. You'll apply it to either single gifts or recurring gifts. And then you'll select that filter I was describing. So you can use supporter field. And here you'd say if state equals or if country equals, then you could send us a custom autoresponder based on that value. You can also do donation amount. So you could say if the donation amount is higher than, lower than, or in between these values. So that's great for mid-level donors or major donors. You'd enter a subject line, choose your sender, select the receipt if you want to include a receipt, and then set up your message. Once you save this, Engaging Networks will automatically send this autoresponder when somebody meets the rule criteria. And here's that area where you can set the priority. So if you create many of these custom autoresponders, you can say when somebody meets multiple criteria, which autoresponder they should receive. So that's how to set up your autoresponders in Engaging Networks. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is part 2 of our top 9 things to do in Engaging Networks in 2019. We'll put a link to top 1 below. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us at info@weraisetheroots.com. And if you ever want to work with us, learn more about us, please feel free to visit www.weraisetheroots.com. Thank you and have a great 2019.